Why Face Your Fears by John Michael. Activities that bring out your fears help you to confront your fears while actively demonstrating your courage in stressful and alarming situations. When people stop facing their fears, they let their fears take over and limit their growth despite them not having a personal experience with these certain types of activities. Not only does taking on a challenge like swimming with sharks and other similar fear-inducing activities help you to overcome this fear or any other fears you have, but also brings out the courage and it helps you to take on more and more circumstances that come up. Through exploring more about this topic, three main perspectives has been identified, such as how you're presented with two options of choosing to take on a challenge or avoiding entirely, how you can overcome any fears by taking on the challenges that are at hand, and how you can fill out your full potential and learn what you're truly capable of when you decide to take on these challenges. Essentially, in this paper, it will give you insight on how fearful activities help you to confront your fears while demonstrating your courage. Perspective 1, decision-making with fearful activities. One example of a fearful activity is deep-sea swimming. With this fear comes the two options of taking on the fear entirely or just to avoid it. This situation helps to improve your decision-making and your personal development relating to taking on challenges. Like Matt White, who is a national speaker who helps business owners, says, so instead of avoiding adversity, we need to fight it. We need to fight through adversity so that we can come out on the other side better because of this experience. This correctly says that we need to go through these hardships and these difficult situations in order to better ourselves and our own mentality. Basically, in order to become the best version of yourself, you must push past the fears and out of adversity. Next, as is written in one of the stimulus materials, through the tunnel. But even after he had made the decision, or thought he found himself sitting up on the rock and looking down into the water. And then he knew, in this moment, when his nose had only just stopped bleeding, when his head was still sore and throbbing, this was the moment he would try. Here, the little boy demonstrates that he took that leap of courage into the certain thing that he feared, and he made the right decision when he decided that he would confront his fears. Essentially, you need to start doing more of these fearful activities that helps us demonstrate our courage for the betterment of ourselves and our decision making. Perspective 2, develop ways to handle fears by taking them on. You can overcome any fears by just doing the ones at hand. These activities in particular help you to overcome your fears and also gives you new ways and it helps you to develop new ways to handle other fears as well. Amy Morin, who is a psychotherapist, mental strength trainer, and an international best-selling author, says, when you completely avoid your fears, you teach your amygdala, the fear center in your brain, that you can't actually handle them. She explains that when you get accustomed to not facing your fears, this results in your brain never wanting to actually overcome them. This means you must face the situations at hand in order for us to not fall into a situation that we actually can't get out of. Essentially, our brain gets accustomed to not dealing with adversity, so then it will stay in a state of comfortability where you don't learn or grow. Basically, if you don't face your fears, then your brains, as a result, will never want to actually solve a fear you have ever again. David Tallon, a renowned psychologist and scientist at the Institute of Living in Yale, says that, however, avoidance prevents you from learning that the things you fear are not actually as dangerous as you think. This shows when you avoid your fears and don't try to overcome them, you are prevented from learning that they are not as dangerous as you may think you are. You will eventually become accustomed to thinking these situations, for example, tower climbing, are not as worse as one might perceive them to actually be, just because you avoid them time after time. Perspective 3, facing your fears unlocks your full potential. Skydiving helps you to understand your full capability relating to mental thinking. Know that you can do the activity because skydiving takes a strong mentality because it's a dangerous act. Jacqueline Hawks, a philanthropy ophthalmologist and chief philanthropy officer, says that when we challenge ourselves, we grow and limit and fulfill our potential. Fear stands in the way of taking risks that are required to challenge us. When we face that fear and push ourselves above and beyond what we thought we could do or achieve, we actually realize what we're capable of. This essentially means that when you face your fears, you know what you're capable of. In order for us to fill out our full potential, you must push yourself above and beyond out of your comfort zone. Veronica Clark, who is a public speaker and psychologist, supports this by saying, when we confront our fears, we often discover things that we didn't know before. We learn what we're capable of, and we may uncover hidden talents and strengths. This can lead to personal growth and a greater understanding of ourselves. She expresses that you uncover new things about yourself that you didn't know before when you actually take on these fears. You uncover these new hidden talents and abilities by doing the activities that frighten us, like flying a plane and other fear-inducing tasks. Moreover, we have to use fear to our advantage to unlock our full potential so we know what we're actually capable of. Counter-argument and rebuttal of the counter-argument. Doing these fears and fear-inducing activities is actually a bad idea because it provokes even more stress on ourselves than we already have. Teens Health, who gives physician-reviewed information on children's health, says that fear is unnecessary and causes even more caution than the situation calls for. Fear is like a caution sign for us to hold back, and it helps protect us from harm. And this quote shows how fear is unnecessary because of all the negatives it has on us. However, this is actually invalid because although more stress will be implemented, over time you actually know how to deal with these situations so the stress won't build up. You will have a better mentality of how to actually deal with it as well. Amy Moore, who is a psychotherapist, mental strength trainer, and international best-selling author, says that gradually facing your fears in small doses that don't overwhelm you may actually help to decrease your anxiety, habituating your amygdala or letting your brain become accustomed to the fear. In this, she says that you're accustomed to the fear, which means you won't be scared of it anymore, and you'll be able to conquer it through courageousness. Essentially, you need some sort of fear to help you feel you need some sort of fear to help you to feel, to be accustomed to no fear in your life so that you don't get into a situation that you can't get out of. Conclusion. To conclude, doing fearful feats helps you to face your fears, while at the same time it helps you to demonstrate your courage in stressful and alarming situations. Moreover, throughout this paper, the importance of participating in fearful activities has been actively demonstrated. This has been illustrated through three very intriguing perspectives that all lead up to the same problem of the solution. People back down from their fears in difficult situations, causing them not to grow. And the solution to this problem is that you need to start making progress little by little to face your fears and taking on the adversity for the betterment of yourself. Finally, taking on activities that induce fear is a great way to demonstrate your courage in stressful and high alert situations. Thank you.
Nice. Thanks, John. I got a couple of questions for you, and then we'll wrap this up. So for the first one, was there any information that you felt like you needed in order to make your argument that you weren't able to find? And what is that information?
Most of the information I actually was able to find, but there was a little section that I wasn't. This mainly focused on what happens when you don't face your fears. Like, does your courage level go down? Does it stay the same? Or does it get permanently affected? That was an area of research that I wasn't able to find that would have been pretty beneficiary to my presentation.
Okay, terrific. And then as a follow-up to that, what additional questions emerged from your research in the end? And would any of these be important questions?
Yeah, so towards the end, I found a couple questions, one of which being, how is fear actually harmful when you don't face it? And basically, this was an important question that I actually did include in the essay and the presentation. And this is important because it helped me form my argument against why not facing your fears is a bad idea. So when I was able to find that question and get more research on it, it helped me form a stronger and more thorough argument.
Okay, terrific.